I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I want to share some things with you. I initially endorsed Donald Trump because he was a birther at the time, and I had risked my life and the life of members of this church to demonstrate that Barack Hussein, the long-legged Mac Daddy Obama, was not born in America, but in Kenya, as his grandmother stated. And Donald Trump, who had a big megaphone, agreed with that. And so I gave him my support initially to become president. I've withdrawn that. And since then, the Lord has revealed to me not only is he a servant of Satan, Trump is, but that he is the trigger of the tribulation. But I saw something last night as he appeared on CNN with Caitlin Collins. And what I thought would have been Trump, who was processing the day prior to that, being found liable of sexual assault and defamation of E. Jean Carroll, was I saw someone who potentially could win the presidency in 2024. And I want you to listen to this clip. I think that you'll be impressed with what I just said. And not that I'm supporting Trump, by the way. I'm nowhere near that. I just want to get the news out. Mr. Engineer, please.
The current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision, and how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important, because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing. I have to say it to start off, no longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened.
Do we have any?
And even the Democrats admit that. Putin knew it would have never happened. And his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened. But this would never have happened. And all those dead people, both Russian and Ukrainian, they wouldn't be dead today. And all those cities that are blown up and disintegrated right to the ground, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, now, here's the problem. We've given so far $171 billion. They've given, meaning European Union, which is approximately the same size altogether as our economy. They've given about 20. So we're at 170, let's say, and they're at 20. You don't have to know too much about history to realize, or geography, to realize that they're a little bit more affected than we are, okay? So they've got to put up a lot more money because they're taking advantage of us like every other country did. That's why I ended NAFTA and replaced it with the USMCA, Mexico,
But on
Canada.
this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have been invaded if you were president. But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected? What's the answer?
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment hoax number one when he said the president didn't do anything wrong. So
that was
I happen
when you
to
asked
like.
him for an investigation
So I happen to like. Yeah, that's right. And it was. I was totally exonerated. By the way, just a waste of time and money.
To be able to. Prior to that, we were able to get a clip where S.E. Cupp, who was a political analyst, stated this morning on CNN and told people if they didn't want to hear it, close their ears. But what she saw in a performance last night with Trump was astounding. And I have to tell you, that's exactly what I saw. Again, I'm not here in support of him, but I don't think there's anybody that could stand up. If Trump gets on a stage, and I haven't seen him on a stage like this since the campaign going back a couple of years ago. If Trump gets on the stage with Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, and whoever else, Mike Pence, that is looking to take the nomination, to receive the nomination of the Republican, he's going to eviscerate them. There is no way. Trump sat down last night and destroyed a large segment of the American people and solidified his base. People don't care that Trump was, and I'll use the term because it's more palpable, was convicted of sexual abuse. They don't care. His supporters, they don't care. They laughed at it. They don't care that he lies, and they know that he lies. They know he's not a decent and a good person. His supporters don't care. There's a primary reason and a secondary reason why they don't care. Primary reason, number one, is that the other person, the other side, is worse in their estimation. And, of course, the secondary reason is that there's a whole lot of stuff going on with the Democrats, with wokeism, with Black Lives Matter, with the border crisis, with racism, that is far worse than the lies that Trump tells, or, the way he elongates or stretches the truth. People just, the Trump supporter don't care, and they're going to vote for him. I have to say this to you also, that that performance last night, and I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not. You know that I'm not. I'm the Lord's servant. I told you that. You know that. That performance last night, though Caitlin Collins did her best to fact check him, I imagine that they sat her down in a room for 2 days and had somebody play Trump, and she was catching him and fact checking him. But she was no match for Trump last night. I can tell you, and though I'll give Caitlin Collins her due, I think she did an excellent job, all things considered. As Van Jones said, when you're talking to a lie machine, and Trump is a lie machine. I'll give Caitlin Collins her due. I think that she did as best as anybody. I think she did a whole lot better than Joe Biden's going to do if he has to go up against Trump. Certainly a whole lot better than Ron DeSantis or any of the others. She was just not able to stop. Trump is a performer. You like him or not, and I'm not here saying I like him. I think he's a con man from way back. I think the man's a psychopath. I expected him to be processing the fact that he had been convicted of sexual assault. In a civil case, not in a criminal case. And to some degree, he probably was processing that. The other thing I realized last night that he is called fake news, CNN fake news. They are anti-establishment, they're anti-constitution. And I think Trump walked out on that stage last night understanding CNN needs me. I think he walked out on that stage last night, unbeknownst to Caitlin Collins, that CNN is not having very good ratings right now. Their programming is not good. And he knows he's a star, like he told the lawyer for Eugene Carroll, that he's a star and that people are going to watch him. People are fascinated by that. And he knew last night when he walked out on that stage that CNN needs him. CNN got good ratings last night, and he knows it. He stepped out there on that stage last night recognizing that CNN need me, and not only that they'll need me after this. And he eviscerated Caitlin Collins. Though I think she stood up to him. I don't know anybody else right now in America that could stand up to him as well as did Caitlin Collins, but he ripped her apart as well. And then later, after an hour or so into the process, he said she was nasty. I was looking for that segment as well. I think we got that segment there now. Can we have that, Mr. Engineer? All right. There's just a picture when she called her nasty. But the other item is that I want to just say this. I'm not saying prophesying this or even, predicting it in any regard. Trump could become president in 2024. I don't know what America's going to do. He could easily win the Republican nomination. There's no problem with that. That's not But as my friend used to say, there's many a slip between a cup and a lip. Many a slip between a cup and a lip. Let me open up the opportunity. Let me open up the opportunity for something to happen. Trump could be indicted or he could fall sick. All those are possible things, which could take him off the stage. Barring any of that happening, all things remain as they are right now. Trump's going to win the Republican nomination. That's a given. No matter what Trump did. You know, Trump said years ago he could stand out on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and he wouldn't lose one voter. People don't care that he was convicted. People don't care what Alvin Bragg has done and indicting him here in New York. His voters don't care. Whatever Fannie Willis comes up with down there for what happened in Georgia with Brad Rassenberger, Trump even said last night he didn't ask for 11,000 votes. He did. But he said last night he didn't. It just kept a straight face. He said, I never did that. He said, I never did that. It was a perfect phone call. He said, I never did. It kept a straight face when he did it. Whatever Fannie Willis is planning on doing down there in Georgia, his base doesn't care. And the other item is that there are people that are gravitating to him because they feel that it's unfair that what they're doing to him. They never did it to Obama. And he had just as many faults and flaws, if not more. Joe Biden with his son Hunter Biden, and the things that Biden, that Trump said that Biden had over 18,000 boxes of, if you will, records and classified documents. I laughed when he said they were all strung out around the green Corvette. But he picks up voters. I think America needs to be prepared, all things being equal, if Trump doesn't fall sick or something else happens, that he'll win the Republican nomination. If he wins the Republican nomination, Trump may become president. He may eviscerate Joe Biden. He might not be able to stand Biden. The exchange between Trump and Biden last time, and then the other thing is that everybody's trying to get Trump to stop talking about the election was stolen. Trump knows the election was stolen. Bill Barr, his attorney general, told him the election was stolen. Everybody, Mark Meadows told him the election was stolen. Everybody around him told him the election was stolen. You think he cares about that? No, Trump is a psychopath. He doesn't care. He knows 60 judges, and many of them Trump supported on the lower level federal court, told him that the election was not stolen. You think Trump cares? If every time he gets a chance to open his mouth, he says the election is stolen. And guess what? The people that are with him who knows that the election was not stolen say it was stolen as well, that it was a fraud. This is, we probably never seen anything like this. And I think to get us to the point of where we need to get into as far as the tribulation is concerned, all this is necessary according to Almighty God. But I was fascinated last night by Trump's performance. Biden will not be able to stand up. Biden is aging, and I'm not sure whether it's the presidency that is aging him. Trump doesn't act like a 76-year-old. He is, but he doesn't act like it. He just doesn't. He doesn't act like a young man. He doesn't do that. But Biden acts like an old man. He talks like one. He walks like one. His demeanor is that. And, you know, who else is? I think Nancy Pelosi is older than Biden. Who else is got age on them in the Senate? But Biden just acts old, looks old, walks old, is old. And as a result of it, and most people don't want Biden. So I just thought I would say that. I think that you could see Trump as president. What would America look like? Hillary Clinton was shocked that night that vote came out that Trump was president. I'm not predicting that he will be. What I am saying is that right now I don't see anybody or anything, any criminal action, any court, any judge, any voter. I don't see anything out there right now that can stop Trump from becoming president. Now, something can arise. A sickness can arise, or a candidate can come out of nowhere. But I don't see it. I don't see it. And if Trump does become president, they asked him last night whether or not he would pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. He was cautious about how he answered that, but he gave an answer in the affirmative that he would. Many of them he thought that deserved it. So, and then let me just move on to this segment as well, is that I watched the MSNBC last night after the event, and they eviscerated, to use that word a third time today, Caitlin Collins and CNN. MSNBC attacked CNN for having the Trump in what was known as a town hall. And said that it really wasn't a town hall because CNN picked every person who was sitting in that audience at St. Anselm's College last night, every person in that audience, except for Waverly Marsh, Deacon Marsh, every person in that audience last night was handpicked by CNN. I mean, they just didn't walk up and say, I want to be in a meeting tonight, volunteer to come. No, so in a true regard, that wasn't a true town hall because if CNN said you can't come in, you can't come in. But on the other hand, people were cheering and laughing. I mean, they were exuberant last night, even though CNN picked them. But MSNBC seemed to have a bone to pick with CNN, mainly because what CNN did and what appears to have happened and what CNN did was that they realized they need Trump. After he called them fake news, he has put them down. He has said all kinds of, unconstitutional things about them, called them liars, and yet they came crawling and knocking on his door. Last night was powerful. Again, let me be clear. I'm not here supporting Trump. God forbid. Absolutely not. But I don't think that CNN realized that maybe they oversported their Smitty because they went crawling to Trump. They crawled up to him and said, will you let us put you on television, give you an hour and a half of our television time in prime time. After he said all those ugly things about him, about them rather. I thought it was fascinating last night what I saw. I thought it was fascinating. At any rate, everybody, we'll see how this is all going to pan out, but it's on. It is on.